Well, I think the most exciting thing happening now in open source is the growth of Web 2.0 companies. We now have companies like Google and Yahoo and Amazon and Facebook that are literally putting thousands of engineers full-time working to solve their own problems, and they're solving them in open source. One of the first things that we see in an information-based world is the implosion of transactions costs. So we're seeing the primary means of innovation moving from big R&D centers at traditional software companies to actually a dispersed innovation cycle happening at large Web 2.0 companies around the world. 2/3 of all expense, of all activity in our economy is transactions costs. What we want to make sure that we're doing is providing our software stack so those new companies can start with an open source software stack for free, but not just community open source, true enterprise class open source. So small companies, startups can use our software for free. And this is the same software that runs militaries around the world, most major stock exchanges around the world. So true mission critical software for free up until they reach a certain size.
The main trends in the open source world is that open source is going everywhere on the infrastructure. We started with open source in the operating system, but it has moved out into the virtualization world, the middleware world, out into the big data world. So open source has become mainstream, and it's taken over the entire infrastructure. We had a goal when we started at Red-Hat to bring it beyond the operating system and have a complete open source infrastructure, and we're there now.
סטארט-אפס, שבעצם זאת הכרזה עולמית שמתקיימת פה כרגע.
I'm very familiar with the Israeli market. I've been doing business here for 20 plus years. In my early days, I ran a startup and ran an Israeli startup that was headquartered between here and Boston. So we've got a very large R&D group here in Israel. So I'm very familiar with the Israeli market. I'm here at least 4 times a year.
Remember back in the 80s, and I say this all the time. Unfortunately, I was part of this. It was companies in vertical stacks, very much in vertical stacks, and whether it was the old Digital or Sun or IBM.
In 2009, we acquired Kubernetes. We acquired them for virtualization technology. Virtualization has now become an integral part of the operating system. The operating system is the foundation to our entire open source stack, so Kubernetes plays a key role in Red Hat's overall mission.